Welcome to my favorite week where we are going to learn about hypothesis testing. Hypothesis testing is used in research to make decisions, and it is based on probability theory, which is why in prior weeks we learned about probability theory. So what we're going to be doing this week is you're going to be learning a lot about making certain decisions about data. So we use data as evidence to either support or refute hypotheses. So the two hypotheses that you will be learning about this week, one being the null hypothesis, which is denoted with a capital H and small o, and the alternative hypothesis, which you've written as a capital H with a subscript A. The null hypothesis is the main hypothesis against which decisions are made. And if you reject that null hypothesis, that means that you have enough evidence to find in favor of the alternative hypothesis. So we cannot prove anything 100%. We have certain probabilities associated with hypothesis testing. So you want to avoid using the word proof anytime that you're doing hypothesis testing, which is also the reason why we make these really funny statements about the null hypothesis. So the two statements that you will be learning about this week, or the decisions regarding the null hypothesis, is you either reject the null hypothesis or you fail to reject the null hypothesis. If you reject the null hypothesis, it means that you have enough evidence that you find contrary to what the null hypothesis states. And if you fail to reject, that doesn't mean that the null hypothesis is 100% correct. It just means that you didn't have enough evidence to find otherwise. So the best exemplar of this is sports analogies. And since we just watched the Super Bowl last evening, I thought that we might use an example from the Super Bowl. So I'm going to highlight here for you one of the plays, the controversial play of the evening, in which one of the Carolina players appeared to have caught the ball, but the referee said that it was not a catch. And the Carolina coach asked for, challenged this decision. And the way that in football we look for evidence that supports or refutes the referee's decision is by doing video replays. So here you see a number of pictures. I couldn't find that exact video, but the Carolina's coach believed that his player had caught the ball. So you see here a zoomed in video, and you see the football, and then down below you see the player, and you can see him laying on the field, and you can see that the ball is in his hand, and that the ball is not touching the ground. So the null hypothesis is always stated in terms of a negative. So for this example, we would say that there is no catch, because that's what was being questioned. So there is no catch. The alternative, or the opposite of that, is that there is a catch. So when the referees viewed these videos, they did not find enough evidence to change their ruling, and the ruling stood. So they failed to find enough evidence to contradict their original decision. So remember, the null hypothesis was there is no catch. They said we fail to reject that, meaning that their decision stood, that there was no catch. So whether or not you agree with them, everybody has their own interpretation of the data, But that was the scenario. There was not enough evidence when the referees reviewed the videos to change the decision. So they found in favor of the null hypothesis in that case because the data best supported that. So there was no catch. And the ruling on the field stood. So had they reviewed the video and they really did believe that that catch was good, they would have rejected the null hypothesis. And then their conclusion would have been that there was a catch. So that way they would have reversed the ruling on the field. So what you will be doing in this week and every week since, from this week forward, is you will be using hypothesis testing to make decisions. So you will have data and you will want to set up both your null hypothesis statement and your alternative hypothesis statement. And based on the evidence, you will be making decisions whether you reject the null hypothesis or you fail to reject the null hypothesis. And you will be learning about type 1 errors and type 2 errors and how those relate to those different decisions. So there are a number of videos that are posted in the modules for this week, and there are discussion forums that are posted, and I very strongly encourage you to have some conversations in there, and I'm happy to help facilitate that dialogue and support your learning. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, send me a message, and I'm happy to meet with you if you would like to do that as well. Have a great week.